Hi friends, today I'm going to be starting my new series on how to. Today is going to be featuring eyeshadow, so it's a video on how to do eyeshadow for beginners. It's going to be a little bit long because it's very detailed on how to do eyeshadow. This is my tips and tricks on my experiences on how I do my eyeshadow on other people and on myself. Just because I do these things for eyeshadow doesn't mean it'll necessarily work for you, but I hope you guys learned something along the way on this video, and thank you all for watching. Let's go on to the video. Okay, so I already did my face and my eyebrows because this video is just to focus on the eyeshadow, so I'm just going to zoom you guys in and we're going to focus on the eyes. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to prime your eyelids. So the reason why you want to prime your eyelids, there's a couple of reasons. The first reason being is that you want to have a clean canvas. So by meaning that is you want to have your eyelids clear and basically one color. So for example, if you were a painter, you would want to start with a blank piece of paper, if that makes sense. The second reason being is that when you prime your eyelids with an eyeshadow base or a concealer, for example, the eyeshadows would perform better and they would blend a lot better and seamless instead of the eyeshadow looking patchy. Another reason is because the eyeshadow will last longer throughout the day. If you're doing a day look or a night look, then using an eyeshadow primer would definitely help the eyeshadow stay on your eyes a lot longer and it will help them pop more. I'm going to go in with the NYX Cosmetics eyeshadow base in Skin Tone number 3. It looks like this. It's just in a pot. I usually use like a Tarte Shape Tape concealer, but because this is for beginners, you usually don't want to be spending a lot of money on makeup. So this one is affordable and I feel like it's really good for starting out. I'm just going to be taking a flat brush like this, flat like concealer brush. I'm just going to be putting on my eyelids. You can even use like your fingers as well. For this eyeshadow base, you can see strokes, so I would suggest using a patting motion to tap that on. Go all the way to the brow bone, just on the lid where you would usually put eyeshadow, and like so. Alright. Oh, I have to do my other eye. So you see the difference? Like, you can see a little bit of my veins on this side of my eye, and on this side you don't really see them. So yeah, so that's why you would want to use an eyeshadow base. Like, you see some darkness and all that stuff, and if I were to put eyeshadow on here right now, it would be patchy and it wouldn't be as smooth as if I were to put an eyeshadow on this side. For today, we're going to be using the Morphe 350 palette. This is just a warm neutral palette. It looks like this. I'm gonna first go in with this matte cream shade right here. Okay, I'm going to be using like a flat shader brush. It looks like this. Using that cream shade, and I'm just going to pop it on my eyes. I want to set the eyeshadow base. Some eyeshadow bases you don't need to set, but I think this one it feels a little bit like oily, I guess, a little greasy, so I want to just set it, and I'm going to set it up here in the eyebrow bone, starting here, and then just bring it down. Yeah, I'm just going to be setting the whole eyelid. So today we're going for a more matte look because eyeshadows that are matte are harder to blend than satin finish shadows and shimmer shadows. I set my eyeshadow base, and next I'm going to go in with a crease color. So the trick with eyeshadows is you want to layer them, so from lightest to darkest. The reason being is if you go in with a dark eyeshadow right away, then it'll be harder to blend because you won't have like a gradual color to come from. Okay, so the first color I'm going to be putting down is this shade right here, like an orange, and I'm going to be putting it on my crease. So to know your crease is in between the brow bone and your eyeball. And for this color is the highest color you're going to be putting up. So, but you don't want it to put it directly on your eyebrow bone. You want to be putting it in between, so that crease. I'm putting my eyeshadow directly on the outer crease, and I'm going to be gradually bringing it in. The reason why I do this is because I want to make it darker on the outer instead of the inner corner of my eye, because we're going for that blended eyeshadow look. And with eyeshadows, you want to start with a light hand. I'm not pressing down because if you press down too hard, it'll move the product too harshly and it'll look patchy. So you want to just take a little bit, blend it, and then take a little bit more if you're not satisfied with it. And the way I'm holding my brush, I was holding it like this, but it'll bring the eyeshadow down more, so you want to keep the brush straight up. You also don't want the eyeshadow be placed down more than, if you were to go in the crease and you're doing this with your brush, your eyeshadow that you put on your brush is gonna go down here. So you want to be putting it up on the crease, and you want to be lifting your arm. So I'm just very lightly blending it back and forth, like windshield wiper motions. Also, when you're doing your eyeshadow, don't lift your eyebrows like this, because if you're doing your eyeshadow like this and you're placing it on your eyelid and then you look normal, your eyeshadow is going to be in a different place than if you were doing this, because you're not going to be walking around doing this and doing your makeup like this and then the eyeshadow be in a different place. So I'm okay with that. And then I'm going to be using the same brush. So this is the Morphe M433 brush. I'm going to be using as few brushes as I can, because as a beginner you don't have like a full collection of brushes. So I went in with this shade. I'm going to go a little bit darker. I'm going to use this color, this orange. This orange is a little bit brighter, but I want it to show a little bit more. This is just a crease color. Place it just below the crease. You don't want to be hiding that color that you first put down. The reason why you don't want to go straight with the dark color is because your dark color won't have anything to blend into. So that's why you always want to start with lightest to darkest, and that's why I'm using, and when you use just one brush, if you start with a dark color, you won't be able to blend with the same brush. Of course, if you're trying to go from darkest to lightest, you want to go from lightest to darkest, and then it'll be easier to use one brush, so your shades will gradually get darker. And then another tip, if you're not satisfied with your blending, then you can always go in with a clean blending brush. This is the Morphe PK336, and you can just blend the eyeshadows together, and this is clean. Okay, then I'm going in with this color, this darker red-orange shade. Same brush, tapping up the excess. I just like tapped like that. That's how small I did it. And I'm just going to concentrate this again just on the outer corner, on the outer lid. I'm bringing it in just a little bit. So I'm taking my clean brush and I'm just gonna blend that further. And then I'm going to go in with a darker shade. And next I'm going in with a darker shade right here, this brown. And I'm focusing that on the outer V. And I'm not taking it as high as I did as the red orange. You can use honestly any shadows with this. This is just tips and tricks for eyeshadows. Any colors, whatever you want. We're gonna go in a little bit darker. I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. It's just a darker brown. Same brush. Tap off the excess. And if you're doing like a really dark eyeshadow look using really bold or dark colors, you might have a lot of fallout. So what I suggest is that you do your eyes first, your eyeshadow first, and then the rest of your face. Just as preference, so you don't have a lot of fallout going down onto your concealer. And so I want to blend that out more, so I'm going to just blend it out in circular motion. And there you go. So it looks blended. So this is what I usually do for eyeshadow. I always do layers. I don't start with the darkest color. I start in with the lightest color that I'm going to do, and then I gradually go from lightest to darkest. Honestly, that's my biggest tip that I can give you, because it'll just help you make your eyeshadow look a lot more blended than if you weren't. If you're going in with one color and you don't have a blend, it'll make it a lot harder to see a blend if you're just using one eyeshadow color. So for the under eyes, I'm going to be using a small flat brush like this. It's a very small rounded brush. With the under eyes, and a lot of people are scared to do their eyeshadow on their bottom lash line because they don't want it to look too smoky or drag down, and they don't want it to look like eye bags. So what I suggest is that you do the same thing as you did on the top. So start with lightest to darkest. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to start with the lightest color that I did. For this color, you want to go all the way into the inner corner. And to do your lower lash line, I suggest doing your face first and then doing your lower lash line, because if you do your face makeup after, I feel like it won't look blended. It will just look like a line right here. And then for this next color, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm keeping it closer to the lash line. And for this third color that I picked up, red orange color, I'm going to focus it just on the outer, so I'm not bringing it in all the way as I did the first two colors. And I'm keeping it closer to the lash line. So you want it to look blended this way and this way. Then going in with that fourth color, same thing. I didn't put a lid color yet, but that's okay. We'll do that after. I'm going in with that last color, and I'm just focusing it right at the outer. You don't want it to have like a space like right here. So I'm going to be taking a flat shader brush, and I'm going to be taking this color again, and I'm just going to be putting that on my lid. And I'm not taking it too high because my eyes aren't that big. I want this look to be blended, so I don't want like a harsh line. So I'm going to be taking the clean brush that we were using and just blend that. Oh, right. Okay. So if you want to go back in with the eyeshadow colors, you can. Okay. So now, since the eyeshadow is done, I'm going to finish the rest of my face and I'll be right back. Okay, so yeah, I think my eyeshadow faded a little bit. I think my eyeshadow base, the NYX eyeshadow base, is not that great. Like, this is probably my 3rd time using it. So I would suggest something else. I don't know if they have new or different ones, or there's a lot from the drugstore. You can use the eyelid primer from e.l.f. or there's a lot from Urban Decay. The primer potion for your eyes. They work really well, but I don't know if it's my lighting or not, but these are the eyes. So this is the final look. I just put on some lashes and put on some lipstick and finished the rest of my face, like did some highlighter and stuff. I'm using the Kiss Lashes in Beehive. But yeah, I hope this video was very informative for you. I hope you picked up a few tips and tricks from this video, and I hope I helped you with your eyeshadow application. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! Or oh shoot. Yes. Oh crap. Babe, is it, how do you say informative?
Okay. I found this on the web for how do you say informative.
Okay. Babe, it's called informative, right? Informative?
What?
Like, how do you say it?
Informative?
Yeah. Like, information, right? Like, it has information.
This is pretty informative.
Okay, informative. Thank you.
Yeah.
I had to ask Siri.